Rush hour traffic jams? No problem for Bob Jacobson. He just navigates from the highway to the waterway. David Stevens loves the open water too. So much so that he paints seascapes on his Camaro. And then there's Bob Sokol. Bob just loves to hit the open road at the helm of his fiberglass motorboat. Meet Bob Jacobson of Seattle, Washington. Bob's a keen golfer. Like most golfers, Bob has to deal with bad lies, sand traps, and deep rough. But one thing he doesn't have to worry about is water hazards. Not with this car. Tee-off time is still a half hour away. Plenty of time for a quick tour of the harbor. Bob Jacobson's Amphicar is an endangered species. Only 4,500 of these versatile German vehicles were ever manufactured, and that was more than 30 years ago. There are only about 300 left in North America, including Bob's, which came off the assembly line in 1967.
I took it up opening day of boating once. That's the biggest thing of the year, and I bet this thing was photographed 500 times, if once, by people in all kinds of boats, and so I only did that once.
If they're so popular, how come they don't make them anymore? Well, they're sluggish on land and awkward in the water. But Skipper Bob loves his anyway, and he keeps it shipshape.
This little car's all has to be Coast Guard approved in the water. It has running lights. This is a red and green running light. It has a stern light that plugs in here. This light plugs in here if you're in the water at night. Because of the water, everything has to be sealed real well, because when you're in the water will go right over this if it's real rough. And sometimes you have to run the windshield wipers because the water will run right against the... But to open the hood, you open it like this. And I keep spare life jackets and bumpers and stuff like that. And that's where the gas tank is.
The engine is in the back, along with a few non-optional extras you won't find in your typical car owner's manual.
It has a bilge pump and a blower. Like a boat, you've got to blow the fumes out, and a lot of marine stuff, so that it won't blow up.
Glad to hear it won't blow up, Bob. But how do you drive it once the wheels are underwater?
Right in the back here, it's got two propellers. Wind screw, 99% original. It's probably one of the best ones left in the United States, because a lot of them do rust away from the water. And if you ever used it in salt water, they don't stand salt water good at all.
That instrument panel looks a little odd, Bob. Could you explain some of those knobs and buttons?
The dash is pretty similar to any normal car, and I'm not sure these are original, but some German sayings for windshield wipers, choke. Oh, this is a normal transmission, 4 speeds, 1 in reverse. This is the one that works the propellers, forward, neutral, and reverse. I'd like to show you one difference this car has in a normal car is that this is what you lock the door so it won't open when you're in the water. This is about how deep it floats. So you can see how much water, if you open that door, you'd be history.
When it comes to boats, Bob's got quite a history himself. Got his first outboard when he was 12. Raced hydrofoils and runabouts all over the country in his youth. Then he got serious and set up his own boat business on the Seattle waterfront. Bob's retired now, and his son runs the business. But it was a boat deal that brought the Amphicar into Bob's life.
A fellow came in 1970 and wanted to trade this car to me, which he'd bought new in '67 for a little boat. This boat was he wanted to put it as a dinghy on his big boat, but it was too heavy. So I sold him a lighter boat, and that's how I got hold of this.
It doesn't matter where Bob parks or anchors, he always gets a boatload of questions.
I'd be wondering where the life jackets are.
Here they are, right here.
Are they?
Below my...
And your boarding ladder? Do you have a boarding ladder?
And it's got I got a bilge pump and a blower.
Yeah.
I just jump over the door to board. And when it's in the water, it's up to about here.
How fast does it go? Can you drive it off just like go down a launching ramp?
Oh yeah, sure. That's the way you go in the water. Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
And it goes right up to about here. And it has a little transfer case down there for the propellers. That's all you do.
The biggest pain in boating is getting in and out of the water. All those hitches, chains, trailers, backseat skippers.
More.
Bob doesn't worry about any of that. He just points the hood ornament out to sea and hums Anchors Away.
And you just go in and out of the water like nothing. And it's funny to do that. I went opening day fishing once when there was a lineup of boats to get on the ramp, and I could sneak around the side, go right in. And no, there's nothing faster in and out of the water. And I've never been in a car that'll go in the water, and it's even though, as I say, it's not a great boat or a great car, it's really, it attracts a lot of attention. In fact, it attracts more attention than I like. Because everybody takes pictures or waves or, you know, it's a fun car to own.
And it's a fun car to see coming at you down the harbor. Besides, how many folks get to go boating and wash the car at the same time? Bob Jacobson does.
And there's lots of girls beside, I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea.
The rugged, remote coastline of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Not the first place you'd expect to see a muscle car, but this is no ordinary muscle car. It's an art car, property of David Stevens.
I built an art car basically because I wanted to bring my art directly to the people, to just take it right out there on the street, a rolling piece of artwork that I could have out there on the street and people could react to it just in spontaneous ways. They just pass by a restaurant or a shopping mall or something and stop and say, hey, look at the car, it's cool, or hey, what the hell did the guy do that to a Camaro for? This is my Seaflower art car. Overall, it has a strong nautical theme, which is something that's near and dear to my heart. As you can see here, I've done some daytime paintings, 2 on the hood and 1 on the trunk lid. And they're just very stylistic, basically symbols or motifs of what Cape Breton means to me, of what Nova Scotia means to me, with the ocean, the great expanse of ocean and sky, and with the little fishing shacks and flowers and so on. And it's really idyllic and peaceful. And here in the headlight buckets, I created a beach here, a nice beach and an ocean, and the headlights really light that up nicely in the nighttime. And there's some little starfish and so on and shells on there. But I'll hang on to my whale now so I don't lose them. Here we see a compass star, and in the middle of it I have a ship's wheel, a wooden ship's wheel. And again, that's the whole idea of the nautical theme and steering the charting a course and steering the vessel to new territory. On this side, we're looking at the starboard side of the car. We have this nighttime scene, which is quite similar to the daytime scene of the same villages.
David's first art car was a Volkswagen Beetle. He bought it for $50 when he was a teenager. David knew even back then that he would never settle for ordinary, straight-off-the-assembly line cars. He likes to cause a buzz.
It does make people turn their heads and stop and think of what was that just went by me in a flash of color. And to stop at a gas station or a corner store or something and people strike up a conversation. To me, that's what life is all about communicating with people. And you can communicate visually.
David's been creating art since he was a kid. He even helped found the Nova Scotia Folk Art Festival. But he says he gets the most attention for this mobile canvas. And since Seaflower is David's everyday car, it gets a lot of showings. Like every time he goes shopping.
$18 months, 0 to 3 months, so.
Even though David's here to shop for his family, he just can't resist grabbing a few cans of touch-up spray paint for Seaflower as well.
More random.
David is a self-taught artist. He finds artistic possibilities in just about everything that comes his way. Some of his works incorporate whale vertebrae, portions of wood paneling, even car hubcaps. So David, what does that make you, a sculptor, a painter?
I describe it as painting, what I do. Although lately it's become more painting/assemblage work, and that grew out of the car. People label it as folk art, some people do. It's been labeled folk surreal, and it's been labeled many other things. Garbage is one of them, but that's okay. That's just a label, that's just a pigeonhole, and I'm not trying to fit into any of that. I just do what I do and let it go.
David's art has been showcased all over Canada, but it wasn't until 3 years ago, when he took in the Houston Art Car Parade, that he realized slapping paint on cars was an accepted art form. David is plenty proud of Seaflower, indeed of all his works of art, but what really sets his heart to thumping is his latest creation. It's a tiny pink and smiling performance piece named Bella. David and wife Kathy know that little Bella's far too young to know an automobile from a baby buggy. But that will change. Won't be long before Bella will be going for rides in her dad's nautical art car. And not long after that, she'll be asking Dad for the keys. Folks in Austin, Texas know this natty nautical neighbor as Captain of the Fleet. Actually, Bob Sokol is captain of the Fleet boatmobile, parked and idling in his driveway. Yep, that's a genuine fiberglass motorboat. And no, it has never had its bottom wet.
Back, I guess, in the 80s, there was a succession of vehicles where we started out building four-wheel drives that started getting higher and higher off the ground. We had four-wheel drive trucks. Then we started taking the truck bodies off and putting car bodies on. Then we did one with a little Corvette body, and about that time we figured out it didn't matter what the body was, just so it was four-wheel drive and big high off the ground. So the natural progression, I guess, was to put a fiberglass boat body on. And at one time we had a boat like this on a four-wheel drive chassis where you had to throw a rope ladder out the door to climb up to it. It was so high off the ground. And we had so much fun with it on the beach that I just had to build one for the road.
Bob may not have his captain's papers, but he spent some time traveling around the country in a school bus as an itinerant auto mechanic, so he knows his way around cars. Believe it or not, This boatmobile began life as a tired old Volkswagen. Bob made a few cosmetic additions.
The boat was kind of built on the trial and error method, where we went down some blind paths and came back. You know, it's a lot of things were built and then deconstructed. Things like the front bumper. It was a real problem getting the front bumper to fit until we figured out we had to just cut it in half and bend it in a V to fit. One thing that people always ask me about is whether the boat is street legal. Well, we've got everything that we need to pass inspection to be on the road, and we've got everything that we need to be in the water as well. We've got our fire extinguisher, we've got flotation devices, we've got our numbers all paid up, and of course we've got bumpers in case we get into trouble on land or in the water.
Okay, Bob, you're cleared for highway travel and your papers are in order for shipping out, but you're hedging here. Could you really ride the waves in this machine?
We do everything we can to convince people that it does go in the water. We carry our water ski, we got a ski rope on the back. I pay for my numbers every year. We keep the sticker up to date. And boy, when you drive downtown, down by Town Lake, all the guys with the boats on the trailers, they get out of the way and they wave you on down. They say, go ahead, you go first, go ahead, pull it into the water. But I'm afraid it would only go in the water one more time, right to the bottom.
Just because it won't float like a boat doesn't mean it can't look like a boat. Bob's baby is loaded with every nautical knick-knack you can buy, and a few he made up.
Let's see all the switches and stuff in here. The shark repellent, if you push that button, it connects the extra battery. There's nothing more embarrassing than hanging around downtown for a couple of hours with the radio blaring and then waving goodbye to everybody and turning the key and having to go click, click, click. So you want to make sure you have your shark repellent in case you need to start the engine. The bilge pump, that's our windshield wipers, and of course you got to have a map light. This is a World War II surplus B-52 map light with, you know, a couple of feet of cord on it in case you have to read the map in the middle of the night.
It gets pretty hot in Austin, Texas, so Bob came up with a way the boatmobile could keep passing landlubbers refreshed, whether they want it or not.
Just this past season, we decided to add this squirter to the front. It just seemed like the thing to do. You notice I'm being very careful now not to hit the flag with the water. I feel like the guy who invented the machine gun mounted on a biplane the first time he came around and cut the propeller off, ching, 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 ching. So we always have to take the flag down when we're going out to play with the squirter.
The boatmobile's name says it all, or almost all. Bob enlists the help of the Motor Vehicle License Department to add to his nautical theme.
In the state of Texas, you can get a custom license plate, but they only give you 6 letters, so it's hard to be creative in 6 letters. They charge the same amount of money every year, whether you decide to keep the same license plate or trade it in for another one. So we get a new one every year. So I've been trying to be creative for about 15 years now, and of course I have all the old license plates on the wall.
Outlandish may float like an anchor, but it performs much better on the open road.
It'll go as fast as you have the nerve to go. Once it gets out on the highway, if you hold the gas pedal down, it just keeps going faster and faster and faster. But at a certain point, I guess it gets a little unmanageable, so we try and keep it down to 55. It looks really great going by at 55.
But even if he obeys the speed limit, Captain Bob is bound to raise a few eyebrows among the local constabulary.
You know, when you go out in a cool vehicle like this, the first time you go out, you get stopped every time you turn around. But the word gets around pretty fast, and by now I know all the police in the county on a first-name basis, and pretty much they wave just like everybody else does.
What must it be like to be married to a guy who likes to drive around in a boat on wheels? Well, you'd definitely need a sense of humor.
Come sit with me.
Bob's wife, Cheryl, has that in spades, not to mention a stubborn streak. Bob and Cheryl got married when they were both just kids. They divorced, and 10 years later, they married each other again.
Well, we've been together almost 30 years, and I could say truly that there's never been a dull moment. We have, you know, our moments like any couple, but then when you can laugh together, that saves everything.
And when you ride in a boatmobile, the laughter comes easy and often.
Everyone notices you, and everyone has a comment. And I think the best one was we were driving down 6th Street one time, which is our fun street in Austin. And we were stopped at a light, and a young woman was crossing the street and didn't see us right away. And then when she noticed us, her eyes got real big, and then she started swimming across the street in front of us. So, I mean, you get all kinds of great comments and people acting out and having a good time.
Bob's not likely to get swamped by waves, but he may get swamped by fans. The boatmobile is a people magnet.
Everyone has something that they yell at you, you know? They yell out the first nautical thing that comes to their mind as you go by, whether it's, "Hi, Popeye," or, "Hey, Gilligan, where's the skipper?" or something like that.
That is a weird car.
It always draws a crowd. If you walk away from it for 5 minutes and just stand back and watch, it'll draw a crowd. And if you feel like just getting out and talking to people, this is the best icebreaker. An art car is the best icebreaker there is.
Ah, the lure of the open sea, so near, yet so far. Better you stick to terra firma, Bob. Always remember your mother's advice. Don't go near the water. David Stevens is pretty well land-bound too, but who'd want to risk Seaflower's beautiful paint job in the Atlantic Ocean? Meanwhile, on the West Coast, Bob Jacobson gets to have it both ways, as long as he's not in a hurry.
All the nice girls love a sailor. All the nice girls